In July 2022, I started actively looking for roles, and in August 2022, I got an offer from a company that I truly believed in, and so I stopped interviewing with other companies. Obviously, I was set to resume in this company in September of 2022, but that was postponed to October 2022 because there were some documentations and legal issues that needed to be sorted. So I am in Nigeria, and this company is based in Europe. It is not an English speaking country, and I think the documentation with all of their employees, the translations and all of that took a bit of time to get sorted. So the resumption was basically pushed to October. On the weekend in October, before I resumed on Monday, I got on a meeting with my direct contact there, my to-be manager, the employee success, was it customer success or HR? Yeah, the relevant people, right, that I'd been speaking with, the recruiter that recruited me and all of those things. And I got informed that I would no longer be resuming due to some reasons. Basically, my offer got rescinded. After that call, I just went to sleep because expectations were cut short. Obviously, I was disappointed. Plans had been made. Anyways, by that time, I had some things going on for me. I started the YouTube channel where I was teaching data structures and algorithm. I started this podcast where I was talking about my career because I was open, and I'm still open, that my insights so far, however short, helps even maybe just one person out there, right? And then I was also posting data structures and algorithms content consistently on YouTube. But after that day, I realized that I had no energy, no motivation, and zero productivity to continue doing any of those things. I was so tired, and I just let myself write because I felt like I'd been working so hard all year. This was October, literally it's the end of the year. And if you follow me from LinkedIn, I feel like most of you listening to this podcast are coming from LinkedIn. Welcome. All my blog posts, you know that I was away for November. I was at the orientation camp in Nigeria. Every graduate has to undergo a 1-year service to the nation. And the first 3 weeks of the service year is spent in a military orientation camp with programs as rigorous or similar or patterned after a paramilitary training. And obviously you can't code in that kind of environment because everything is regimented, right? Think military setting. So I wasn't coding in camp. After the 3 weeks, I got out December. I still wasn't coding or doing anything productive. I just could not bring myself to do anything. And I just thought, okay, maybe new year, fresh start. But I realized that I still was feeling the way I was feeling. I was feeling so unproductive, so burnt out. And I do not believe that I truly got out of this state until recently. And by recently, I mean that sometime last week. And so I started to finally get to the place where I could understand what was wrong with me, and I was burnt out. That was it. Welcome to Trans. My name is Blossom Babalola. I am a software developer based in Abuja, Nigeria. On here, I talk about navigating my career in the tech industry. I bring you helpful tidbits, lessons, and interesting gist about the tech career. I also bring you chats with other developers or people who have careers in tech, Scrum Masters, UI UX developers, QA engineers, project managers, system designers, engineering managers, whatever it is, name them. Sometimes we also take a trail revising books, sometimes technical books, finance book, personal growth books, and technical concepts. This is your one-stop shop for anything tech really, and I am so glad to have you here. I like this definition that says burnout is a state of physical, mental, and emotional exhaustion that can occur when your personal and professional expectations do not align. So basically, when your expectations are not met in some sort of way, you will be burnt out. Whether it be your personal learning goals, some career goals, or whatever you've looked forward to, when your personal and or professional expectations do not align, you will be burnt out. Now, the first step to actually dealing with a burnout, because I think that burnout is not just something that you wish away or you force yourself back into motivation. There are many times I did that to myself, try to get back into my schedule and routine, created my productivity, tried new productivity techniques. If you know me, you know I'm a productivity junkie. And so I just figured out, okay, maybe I was tired of this particular routine and I should try something new. But nothing was just sticking or working. I would set all of these schedules, and when it was actually time to get down and do the work, I would just be blank, unmotivated, unable to actually do anything productive. And I am not one to spend time on social media. I use a lot of time blocking, time restricting, deleting apps. I'm that sort of person. But during this time, I would just indulge. I was jumping from different movie sites. And I don't even watch movies because they take too much time commitment. And so I was just starting one, jumping to another. It was draining. Now, the point of this is, when you are experiencing this exhaustion or unusual motivation, how do you know that you're burnt out? You're just doing things that are unlike you. It just feels as though you know what you want. Everyone knows what they really want. But what you are doing is not aligning with what you want. For me, for instance, I had so many things to do. Contents to put out, videos to make, learnings to make, projects to build. But everything I was doing was not aligning. I was indulging in social media, indulging in anything but actually doing the work I was supposed to do. And that's really not me, right? So you have to know when you start acting out of. It just felt like I didn't want to do the things that I really should be doing. The things that gave me satisfaction no longer satisfied me. And so I could identify that, okay, something was wrong. But I didn't think I was burnt out. I just thought that, let me try some different productivity. Let me listen to Jay Shetty. Let me listen to the Mindset Mentor. Something to give me that instant boost of get up on your feet, also, and grind. But I that was not it. I needed to deal with the root cause, right? So you have to identify or know that you are burnt out. That is the first step to dealing with a burnout. Know that you are burnt out. And you know that you are burnt out when you can identify the signs. This does not mean that every time you want to indulge in things that you not normally indulge in, you are burnt out. So let's say it's a weekend, for instance, and you do not feel like planning for the next week, you just want to relax with a movie. That does not mean you are burnt out. When you are unusually unmotivated, it is becoming difficult to do the things that you normally do. You can easily identify that you are burnt out. It's just feeling like a chore. You can't think or focus. And things that would normally come easily to you, naturally to you, start feeling so sad, like, get me out of here. I don't want to write JavaScript anymore. So yeah, just identify that you are burnt out. That's the first step to dealing with burnout. Because the truth is that whatever you can name, you've either given it power or taken power away from it. Like when you name a child, the child is no longer just a baby. It's now your child that has a name. Or when you identify something you are struggling with, it's no longer this secret thing that you are struggling with. It has a name and you can call it by its name, anxiety or whatever. So in the case of burnout, it's not just, I don't feel like working, I am tired, I am lazy, I don't want to go to work anymore, I don't want to do this anymore. You can just say, I am burnt out. I love to do this thing, but I am burnt out. You've given it a name, you identified what it is, and you've basically taken power away from it in some sort of way. And so when you feel this way, don't just try to productivity hack your way out of it. Identify that you're burnt out. And once you do that, know why you are burnt out. So when I realized sometime last week that I think I'm dealing with a burnout, I came to myself like, I've been a drag for nearly 3 months. 3 months is a long time. Even if we remove the entire time of camping in the military thing, let's say it was 2 months, but during that time I still wasn't missing code. Like, I was just happy, like, okay, this break is needed. But there's just something that I could tell that something was wrong, right? I identified I was burnt out, and then I had to trace back to, okay, why was I burnt out? At first I thought that maybe I was tired, and then I also moved states. I no longer stay in the state that I used to last year. So I was like, okay, is it the moving process? Is it the entire service year? Because service year is also a lot and a thing. Is it what I have to do? Is it the goals I set for the year that is overwhelming? Was it the orientation camp that burnt me out? Probably that 3 months where that 3 weeks where I was in coding and suddenly it had to get back into the groove. What was it? And was it an imposter syndrome of some sort? Then I realized that this thing actually started. I just remembered, there are sometimes you have to do a deep soul searching. And I recall that at that time I just lost all my mojo. So identifying what caused that burnout is the second step to overcoming a burnout. And then the third thing is trying to revisit that situation, right? I mean, that day I didn't properly process what a rescinded offer means and what that means to me. I just slept off and then I buried it under a whole lot of emotions. And I got into other things. I wasn't coding, right? But I got into other things. I was busy doing any other thing but coding and what I was actually supposed to do. So yeah, you need to revisit that situation. What your expectations were, your goals, revising it, and then revising your values around it. So for me, I knew that, okay, the entire year, like I came into the January 22 knowing that I wanted to pivot my career, and then I walked my way into building. I just didn't want to start looking for roles. I wanted to explore things that I liked, and that was when I learned about developer relations, trying my hands at content creation and doing things that I'm really passionate about. Talking to you right now doesn't feel like a chore. I deliberately have to end my podcast because I could go on for hours. So this is something that I enjoy doing, right? And so I could indulge. And YouTube, there are things that I just enjoy doing. Teaching my siblings is something I've always done. So those were things I wanted to explore before finding a new role and then understanding what I wanted in a new role. So I took the first half of 2022 doing that, knowing what my goals are, what my passions are, and finding roles that aligned with that goal. And when I was fully sure of what I wanted, I dived right into the market. And I think I was quite lucky, quote unquote, blessed that I got several interviews and stuff, and one quite quickly. Like in July, I already got one, and in August, in that same July, I was in the final stage of the interview. August was meeting the team and all of those things. So yeah, I think that happened quite fast for job search in the half of the year. And so I knew that my entire 2022 was built on career pivoting, and by the end, October was basically the end of the year, right? And to just say that, okay, all of these dreams, all of these plans had led to naught was very disappointing for me. I was focused on getting that single role, that career pivoting. I inched it on getting that role as the single success metric for my career pivoting. But my career pivoting wasn't just getting a role. It was also finding my passion. It was also doing things that revolved around my passion. I was already in the tech industry. Talking is a passion of mine. Education is a passion of mine. Tech is a passion of mine. Community building is a passion of mine. And so I built those passions around my career, tech, right? That was a career pivot that I didn't have in 2021. It was a career pivot that I did. But I did not consider those successes. The only success I considered was getting a role. And so I had to revisit that situation and tell myself that my success should not have. There were many things, right, as regards career pivoting. And one failed, and I just basically felt like a failure all around. And that made me burnt out, right? I felt like, all of my professional career pivoting expectations wasn't met, therefore I am sad and all of that. But if I had revised in my mind that my career pivoting success was multifaceted, I did so many things. Obviously I wanted to do more, but I didn't. But I did some things, and revisit that particular thing made me redefine my success metrics going forward. My success metrics cannot be based on outcome. It has to be based on processes. And the processes I built in 2022, I tell you, are still the ones I'm using now, even for all of these channels, all of these things that I'm doing, and even across the job search thing. There were processes that I built, and while that outcome is not up to me, I had built processes that I could reuse. Yeah, basically, I built systems that I could continue to reuse, structures that I could reuse and tweak according to the times and the seasons, but I built these things. And so when I started to revise that, okay, I was being too hard on myself, I need to be kinder on myself, I just realized that, okay, maybe that wasn't so bad. And the process, the knowledge that I had built process, I had built system, it energized me, it motivated me afresh. Don't try to start motivating yourself and doing all these productivity acts without first going back, knowing what caused the burnout, identifying when it happened, and trying to revisit that situation. And even if I had not built processes and systems, then I still could have identified what went wrong and did better. Right? There was no point just hanging on the failure of the system, but revisiting it made me see that it wasn't a total failure. But even if it was, right, even if I had not built any process or any systems, then I can know that, okay, this is what I did wrong, let me do better. Or can I research what to do better next time? Do you get? So just revisit that entire situation and tweak it on how you can do better. I think that this was a whole lot. And I am really hoping that it gets into your head somehow. Then stage 4 of recovering from a burnout is, if possible, do things that energize you. Indulge yourself, like be kind to yourself. Like I said, during this time when I wasn't feeling motivated, I definitely indulged myself. Albeit I went a little bit overboard. 3 months is excessive. But you can indulge yourself. Maybe just take it easy on yourself. Don't go too hard. If after the burnout, I realized that I was burnt out immediately and I went back, I still would have given myself about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or even a month to get my mojo back, and maybe not have allowed it, let the burnout extend for that long. But still, there should be a period of time where you allow yourself to rest and indulge. Don't just go right in, I know what's wrong, let me continue. If you can, that is good, but remember that you also need to take care of yourself. You are the priority here, not your goals. Without you, your goals is nothing. You give meaning to your goals. So calm down, take it easy yourself. And finally, step 5, go again. Go again. No matter how many times that you fall or get burnt out. I am not in charge of the outcome. I am not. And knowing that now makes me feel so much better, that all I have in control is the processes, and enjoying the processes is my new success metric, right? Enjoying the process, like enjoying the process of recording a podcast, editing a podcast. When I started recording this podcast, I wasn't connected to my microphone, and so I had wasted 10 minutes with bad audio that I had to discard, and I just laughed stuff like, okay, it's one of those things. If my success metric was my success metric could have been, okay, record a podcast by Friday and edit it, schedule it by that Friday, but I don't think I can meet up with that schedule anymore, and so I would have felt like, oh God, this day was a total waste. But I started that process of recording. It didn't go all that well, but I started the process. I will still do my best to try to hit that metric, but the process is the success metric now. That you made an attempt at the success metric. So once you admit to yourself that you are burnt out, you identify why you are burnt out. You revisit that situation, evaluate your values, evaluate your success metrics for it. You indulge yourself, then go again. I wish you all the best, and I'm totally rooting for you. If you are burnt out right now, just hang in there. It's going to pass. It's a phase. I hope you don't stay too long in that phase though, so you get back into your mojo quickly. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a rating on whatever platform you are listening on. This tells the algorithm that the podcast is useful and it recommends it to other people. You can reach out to me on any of my social media platforms. I'm Blossom Babalola everywhere. Or you can leave me a voice note. Anchor has this nice little feature, which I think is really cute. Thank you for those that have been taking advantage of it. Till the next episode. Bye.